Welcome back. So in this video, we are going to use several examples, actually 3 examples to practice the formula we just introduced. As you can see, I put two methods, two kinds of formula on the top, so you can always refer to that. The first one, so this example here, we are going to use both method to demonstrate the answer and to see how do we practice this one. So let's get started. We need to find the area of the shaded region for this one. As you can see, so this shaded area is actually a sector, so we need to find the area of this sector. Let's see what information do we know. We do have central angle here. We also have the radius, which is 10 inches. So let's work on that. So for method 1, all we need to do, we plug in the central angle for here, which is already given, 75 over 360, and we times the whole area of the circle, which is pi r squared, which is 10 squared. So again, you don't need to break down any steps when you type in the calculator. All you need to do, we can just plug it in here. So it's 75 divided by 360 times, again, do not use 3.14 unless the question told you so. So just put pi in there and times 10 squared. So we just need to find out the answer here. As you can see, the answer already clear here. So it's 65.44. I didn't put a rounded answer because we want to practice for different cases. But if you can answer did tell us, let's check. For example, the answer tells us to the nearest hundreds, then we are going to check near hundreds, meaning we have, let's put it here, nearest hundreds meaning, probably not a good idea. So nearest hundreds meaning we have 2 digits here, then we are going to focus on the third one, 9, and it can be rounded up. So the answer will be, let's write down here, 65.45. Okay, so get the first answer here. Then let's move on to the second method. Let's use a different color here. Method 2, we're going to set up the ratios for 2 sides. The left side is central angle, which is, we already know that, 75 over 360. And then sector area is one we don't know, so we're going to put x here. So x is sector area x over pi r squared, which is 10 squared. The next, we are going to use cross multiplication. Again, after cross multiplication, we do not have fraction anymore. We do have 2 sides of the equation. So one side, doesn't matter which one you put left or right, because their equations is always okay. So one side is 75 times pi times 10 squared. And then the other side is 360 times x. So in order to solve x, we need to what? Yes, you are correct. We need to isolate this by dividing 360 for both sides. Now, 360 is not there anymore. We can put an x here. All we need to do here, you don't need to break down. What you can do, you can find the value on the top and then divide by 360, or we just type everything together. So let's clear whatever we had before. So it's 75 times, again, please use pi instead of using 3.14, which is sometimes when you come to the rounding part, you might get wrong answer divided by 360. So some students might wonder, do I need to put parentheses on the top, which is the best. However, but since this case we just multiply everything together, so the order of operation is not going to be affected. So we just go there. So do you see exactly the same answer as we just saw before? So this time let's round it. Same thing, so round it to the 100. Then we check the third number 9. We need to round it up because it's greater than 5. So this answer is same as the last one before, 65.45. That's how we use both methods, but we still get the same thing. Now let's check the second example. Second example, again, we keep the formula there. Find the area. So find the area of the shady region. We do have this piece of the central angle. And show your answer in terms of pi. Later, we're going to have more discussion regarding this piece. But let's check the information here. We do have central angle, but shaded area is downwards here. So instead of doing that, we do need to find the central angle here, right? So some students wonder how, and some students probably already figured out the answer. Since the whole circle is, yes, you're right, 360. In order to find the downward piece, we just need to take away 135 from there. Okay, so this answer will be 225 degrees. So we know this part is 225. Again, if you worry you can make a mistake, you can always use calculator to check your answer. So which is 225. So now let's continue. Let's put, so again, when we find, just very straightforward, when we find second area, you can always use two formula, just depends on how do you like to solve this, or what kind of method you want to use. So let's still keep the first one here. Central angle, in order to use the one, we already know the central angle, which is 225 over 360. I think I forgot to give you the information for the radius. Radius is actually 10 inches. I do apologize for that. So then pi times 10 square. Okay, so the radius happen to be the same as the other one, so it's 10 square. Now we just need to, again, put in the calculator, but this time I want you to pay special attention here. The answer says, the question asking us to show the answer in terms of pi, meaning our answer is going to have the pi in the end. So what does that mean? I'm going to keep pi. I'm not going to put the pi in the calculator. So let's check what I do here. Since the answer is asking us to show the answer in terms of pi, so I'm going to only type 225 divided by 360 times, so something under times pi 10 squared. No, since I need to save the pi here, so I only type 10 square. So there's no more pi in this because the answer said in terms of pi. So as you can see, 62.5, right? So that's going to be exactly the same thing I'm going to write down here. And then that's it. That's our answer. If we do ask the answer as in terms of pi, do not put pi in a calculator. So let me write down the word to remind us. If the answer asks us to show the answer in terms of pi, do not put pi in the calculator. Okay, so that's one thing I want to remind you. Some students might wonder, what's the unit for that? This is inches, and area is always something square, so this should be inches square. Okay, so that's the second one. Let's check the last example. It's a little bit different. Last example, find the radius of the circle if the area of the shaded region is 50 pi. So for this case, very similar to the one we practiced before. This case, we know the central angle. We don't know the radius. Let's put a question mark here. But we do know the shady part, like the space inside this piece is 50 pi. Okay, so if we do need to find the radius or central angle, then personally, I do feel like the second one is easier. So let's use the second method here. So let's set up the ratio. So central angle, in order to set up the ratio, we have left side central angle over 360, which is 110 over 360 equals, do we know the second area for this case? Yes, we do know is 50 pi. See, this answer is also in terms of pi. We do not see like the decimal or whatsoever. We do have pi here, so this is called in terms of pi. Over pi. Do I know the radius? No, because that's the one we need to find. Keep here. So again, in order to move on, it's always a good idea to simplify as much as you can. We both have pi here. Pi over pi, what happened? Cancelled. So we are going to rewrite the whole thing as 110 over 360 equals 50 over r squared. In order to do that, what do we need to do? Cross multiplication. So the left side is 110 square r squared equals 360 times 50. You can find the answer here. You can also just keep it and we can just solve the whole thing later together. R squared is 360 times 50 divided by 110 because we do need to isolate r squared here, so we divide by 110 for both sides. Now, some student might want to do, okay, r should equals to, let's clear everything here. So it's 360 times 50 divided by 110. Let's check what do we have. So this answer is this. So some student might say, oh, the r equals 163.63. What about the answer? You can round it. In that case, you're wrong. Why? Because this answer says r squared. So this is not our answer. How do we find the answer? We are going to find, since this is r squared, so in order to find the answer, what do we need to do? We need to find the square root for both sides. How do we do that? For this case, you can do that. So find the square root, which is some on top of r squared. So you can go second that, and then you just go up. Find this, enter. So that will put your whole value here. And then we go enter. So that will be this. Let's round it to the nearest tenth. Nearest tenth is 1 digit after decimal. Check the second number after 7, which is 9. 5 up, raise it up, so it's going to be rounded up, so it's going to be 12.8. One thing I want to remind you, since we want to find square root, you can also just type the whole thing in the calculator. Let me show you. So second, you see the square root of the whole thing, right? We just type 360 times 50, times 50, then divide by 110. Make sure this little square root sign covered everything. We go enter, you will see exactly same thing. So this one thing I just want to remind you, this case a little bit different from arc length because sector area is involved with r squared. So in order to find r, we need to find the square root for the last one. Okay, so that's our answer. I hope these videos are helpful for you to solve this problem and to master the method or the formula for sector area. Everyone, please stay safe, stay at home, take care.